What's happening in the Catholic Church is something I never saw coming. And when I first heard it, I thought, this can't be true. But as I dug deeper, the facts started pouring in. And let me tell you, it might just shock you too. Have you noticed that the Catholic Church is growing? For years, you might have heard people call it a fading institution, outdated or irrelevant. That's what I thought too. But when I stumbled upon some unexpected data, it stopped me in my tracks. Honestly, it felt like an unexpected plot twist in a movie, one you didn't see coming, but as you dig deeper, makes so much sense. And here's the thing, by the end of this video, you'll start to see it too. Now let me tell you something that completely caught me off guard. During Easter this year, something remarkable was happening, not just in a few pockets here and there, but across the globe. It wasn't just families returning to church for tradition's sake. It wasn't just kids getting baptized either. The numbers I came across were staggering. In Texas, Alabama, Kansas, even in secular strongholds like France, the Catholic Church is experiencing a surge in converts. Here's one example. A Catholic campus center in Kansas reported helping 46 adults convert to Catholicism in just a single year. And that's just one story among many. But the big question is, why? What's behind the Catholic resurgence? Before we dive deeper, let me share what shocked me the most. It's not just children being baptized or families attending Mass out of tradition. It's adults, skeptics, people who'd walked away from religion or never believed in the first place. In France, for instance, the number of adult baptisms grew from 3,900 in 2015 to over 7,000 in 2024. That's nearly double. So why, in an age of increasing secularism, would so many people, especially adults, return to the church? Is this just a passing trend, or is it something deeper? I'm going to be honest with you. Not long ago, I was skeptical, just like many of you. I was raised Protestant, and when I thought about Catholicism, I pictured what the movies and TV always show, a rigid, outdated institution clinging to centuries-old practices. If I'm being blunt, I thought the church was in decline, losing followers every day. But something changed. It started during one of the darkest times of my life, the pandemic. The world seemed like it was unraveling, and I was desperate for answers. I asked God, where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to believe? I wasn't expecting much. A voice from the heavens? Not likely. Instead, what I found was an internal pull. It was subtle at first, and I resisted. But over time, the more I read and learned, the more something began to resonate. What drew me in wasn't just the church's teachings, although they were profound. It was the stories of self-sacrifice, Catholic priests and saints who lived their faith with extraordinary courage. Take Father Damien, who served a leper colony knowing full well he'd contract the disease himself. Or Father Maximilian Kolbe, who volunteered to take another man's place in Auschwitz, sacrificing his own life. These weren't just abstract tales, they were gritty, real examples of faith in action. And they shook me. The Catholic Church, I realized, isn't just about rules, it's about people who've lived out those rules with everything they had. And here's the thing, I'm not the only one noticing this. In fact, a major trend fueling the church's growth is traditionalism, and it's surprising who's driving it. In the US, for example, the Latin Mass, a centuries-old tradition, has been attracting more and more young people. Yes, young people. In a world dominated by screens and flashy trends, they're gravitating towards something timeless. The Latin Mass doesn't rely on modern gimmicks or trendy displays. It's stripped down to the essence of worship, prayer, reverence, and awe. For many, it's a reaction to the chaos of the modern world. People are searching for something stable, something that doesn't change with every passing fad. Even beyond the US, Catholicism is growing in places where it seemed like the church had all but disappeared. In Belgium, for instance, a country long considered a secular stronghold, Attendance at Catholic services is climbing again. If I had to point to one thing driving this resurgence, it would be sacrifice. In a world where self-interest dominates, the Church's emphasis on serving others, even at great personal cost, stands out. The examples of priests like Father Damien and Father Colby aren't just inspiring, they're countercultural. They remind us that faith isn't just about feeling good, it's about giving everything for something greater than yourself. Dive into why this is happening. Let me ask you, if you're enjoying this video, please hit that subscribe button. We've got a lot more to uncover, and I wouldn't want you to miss any of it. Plus, it helps us reach more people who might be looking for the truth behind these surprising trends. Now let's get back to the story. Why is this happening? Why are more people becoming Catholic, even when the world seems to be moving away from religion? There are several key factors we need to consider. They're waking up to the fact that the world's promises, wealth, status, self-fulfillment, don't satisfy. The Catholic Church offers something deeper, something timeless. It reminds us that life is about more than just what we can see or touch. It's not just the US and Europe seeing this resurgence. In places like Africa and Asia, Catholicism is growing rapidly. In Africa, the number of Catholics increased by 3% between 2021 and 2022, a staggering number given the continent's population size. In Asia, Catholicism grew by 6%. Even in places where the Church has faced major challenges like scandals or criticism, the numbers don't lie. People are coming back, and they're staying. So why is the Catholic Church growing? Maybe it's because people are searching for something real, something that doesn't bend to the latest cultural trends. In a world that feels increasingly shallow and chaotic, the Church's message of truth, sacrifice, and hope resonates more than ever. Picture this. You walk into a church and it's not the trendy, coffee-scented kind. No flashy lights, no casual conversations about the pastor's vacation plans. Instead, there's a priest standing tall at the altar with only the flicker of candles illuminating the sacred space. The air is thick with incense, and you hear Gregorian chants, the steady rhythm of prayer. This isn't a church designed for entertainment. It's a place meant to lift you closer to the divine. And yet something unexpected is happening. The Catholic Church is seeing a resurgence. Yes, you heard that right. People from all walks of life are being drawn back, or perhaps for the first time, to the Catholic faith. Celebrities like Rob Schneider and Candace Cameron Bure, along with others you might not expect, have recently converted to Catholicism. But what's behind this wave of conversions? It's not just a passing trend, it's a movement. But what does it mean for the world we live in today? Let me tell you about something I personally witnessed. A few months ago I attended Mass and something incredible happened. I walked into the church and the place was overflowing, no, surging. The doors were wide open and people were spilling out into the streets. It wasn't Easter or some special event, it was just a regular Sunday. But the church was packed in a way I'd never seen before, the kind of packed where you can't even hear the priest, but the feeling in the air tells you that something powerful is happening. A church that once felt sparsely populated now had a crowd brimming with people. A sense of awe filled the space. And it's not just me. All over the world, there's a noticeable uptick in the number of people entering the Catholic faith. In places like Texas, Auburn, and Kansas, the Easter vigils saw record numbers of baptisms and confirmations. In countries like Malaysia, France, and the US, the numbers are climbing, not just among children, but among adults. This isn't just coincidence, it's a sign that something deeper is happening. But here's the thing, when I think about how we got here, I can't help but reflect on the shift in the world we live in. It's as if everything that once seemed bright, optimistic, and full of promise is now fading. Remember the 2000s, when everything felt new, fresh, and full of possibility? Life was sleek, colourful, and everything seemed to be improving. And now? Now we're stuck in a world where everything feels bland, dull, and corporate. Art looks the same everywhere. No more intricate, soulful creations, just flat, lifeless designs that speak nothing. Look around, how many buildings, how many institutions feel this way? They are sterile, void of life. That's the world we're left with, but here's the thing, people are waking up to this emptiness. They're realizing that in a world full of distractions, they need something real, something that nourishes the soul. And where do they turn? To the Catholic Church. Catholicism, for all its complexities, offers something that resonates in this age of spiritual starvation. It offers something real, something that transcends time, doesn't bend to cultural whims, and isn't built on empty promises of self-fulfillment. The Church holds a deep, rich history, one that hasn't changed, no matter what's happening in the world around it. It's timeless, and let's be honest, our world isn't exactly getting better, is it? We're stuck in these endless cycles, political, social, cultural, where everything feels like a recycled version of the same problem. People are exhausted, tired of the rat race, tired of the meaningless pursuit of things that don't satisfy. They're spiritually starving. That's where the Catholic Church comes in. Once you get past the noise, once you leave the superficial modern church culture and search for something more authentic, you find the Catholic faith standing tall. But what makes the Catholic Church so powerful? It's not just about the rituals, it's about the truth that's been passed down for centuries, unbroken. When you dig deeper, you realize that this is the same church that tamed empires, survived persecution, and shaped civilizations. It's the church that gave us the very scriptures we read today. It's the church that stood against the world when it was on the brink of collapse, and it's still here. Here's something I believe strongly. We're living in a time when people aren't just seeking answers, they're seeking meaning. They want truth that doesn't change with every new political cycle, truth that doesn't bow to the whims of modern culture. And they're turning to the Catholic Church for that truth. It's not about being trendy, it's about being grounded. It's about being part of something that transcends the temporary and speaks to something deep within. And here's the kicker. The church isn't growing just because people are nostalgic for the past. It's growing because people are discovering that the Catholic faith offers something no modern movement can. It offers permanence. But this is just the beginning. As Catholics, we have a responsibility. We must be ambassadors for the church, not just through our words, but through our actions. When we love with humility, when we serve with kindness, when we stand for what is true, we will change people's perceptions. We will help them realize that there is something worth living for. If you're feeling disillusioned with the world around you, know that you're not alone. Many others feel the same way, and they're finding their way back to the church. We all need something greater to look to, something that promises life beyond the fleeting pleasures of this world. I want to hear from you. Do you think this resurgence of Catholicism is a temporary trend, or do you believe something deeper is at work? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. There's so much more to uncover about the timeless truth that guides us. Until next time, keep seeking and keep questioning. What will you choose, the temporary or the eternal? If you've enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to Astro Compatibility World for more deep dives into history, spirituality, and personal growth. You won't want to miss what's coming next.